They took off on us! What? One more watt and you'll be a light bulb! What?
In Me, Myself, and Irene, there's a moment where Jim's character says goodbye to his 3 sons before heading out. Right before he leaves, he leans in and asks them for a kiss. That wasn't in the script. You can see the first 2 go along with it, but the 3rd one hesitates. In The Truman Show, there's a scene where Jim Carrey draws an astronaut helmet on the mirror using a bar of soap. Jim used to do stuff like that at home. There was another take where he drew a wig and a dress, but the helmet one made the final cut.
Trumania.
Hej allihopa!
Hey guys!
In Dumb and Dumber, there's a moment where Jim Carrey walks past an old newspaper on the wall that says,
We landed on the moon!
That wasn't in the script. He saw the headline and made it up on the spot. It fit the character so perfectly, and it became one of the funniest lines in the whole movie.
We landed on the moon!
In Liar Liar, there's a scene where Jim Carrey is running to stop his ex-wife from leaving and suddenly trips on the sidewalk. He actually fell by accident but stayed in character and finished the scene.
Oh, hold on, wait!
In Fun with Dick and Jane, there's a moment where Jim Carrey drops from the ceiling during a heist and misses the desk he was supposed to land on. The fall wasn't planned. He fell straight to the ground but didn't break character. He just grabbed the printout like nothing happened and kept going throughout the scene. There's another scene in Me, Myself, and Irene, where Jim Carrey and Renee Zellweger are about to push a car off a cliff. Jim was supposed to count slowly, but he made the countdown faster.
On 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
He made it up in the moment, and you can see Renee almost break character. In How the Grinch Stole Christmas, there's a moment where the Grinch pulls a tablecloth off a table, leaving all the dishes perfectly in place. That wasn't supposed to happen. Jim Carrey intended to pull everything off the table, but when the dishes stayed put, he quickly turned around and knocked them all off in frustration. The spontaneity of the moment added to the Grinch's chaotic nature, and the scene remained in the final cut. In Man on the Moon, there's a scene where Jim Carrey, playing Andy Kaufman, jumps into a wrestling match and starts shouting at the crowd.
Are you listening to me?
A lot of that wasn't planned. Jim just got in the ring and started going off, just like Kaufman would have. The energy was so raw they left it as it was.
Silence, goodbye!
In Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, there's a scene where Ace walks past a cellist at a fancy party and suddenly yanks the guy's arm mid-performance, making him play a loud, wrong note. That moment wasn't planned. Jim just did it to mess with him, and the cellist's reaction is completely real. In Dumb and Dumber, there's a quick bit where Lloyd walks out of a 7-Eleven and sees 2 guys drinking big gulps. He stops and says,
Oh, big gulps, huh? All right.
those guys weren't even actors. They were just standing there watching the shoot. Jim improvised the whole thing, and it turned into one of the movie's most random and funny moments.
Well, see you later.
In Yes Man, there's a moment where Jim Carrey's character surprises everyone by speaking fluent Korean. Jim took the initiative to learn the basics of the language for authenticity. His commitment added a genuine touch to the scene, making it both impressive and funny.
Okay.
In the short film Pecan Pie, Jim Carrey drives around in a bed that's been converted into a car, singing an Elvis-style song. The entire concept was a spontaneous idea between Jim and director Michael Gondry. They shot the scene with minimal planning, capturing genuine reactions from bystanders. The absurdity and charm of Jim singing while cruising in a bed car made it unforgettable. In The Cable Guy, there's a part where Jim Carrey puts chicken skin on his face and imitates Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs.
Hello, Clarice. It's good to see you again.
That wasn't in the script. He improvised the whole thing. You can actually see Matthew Broderick trying not to laugh. In Lemony Snicket's, Jim Carrey forgets one of his lines during his first scene as Count Olaf. Instead of stopping, he turns to the kid and says,
Let me do that one more time. Give me the line again.
It worked so well in the moment, they decided to keep that take.
Our parents just died.
Wait. Let me do that one more time. Give me the line again.
In Bruce Almighty, there's a scene where Bruce is answering prayers via email. Jim Carrey starts typing at an absurd speed, his fingers flying over the keyboard in a blur. That rapid typing wasn't planned. Jim just went for it, channeling Bruce's newfound powers in a hilarious way. In this jacuzzi sketch, Jim Carrey plays a hyper-intense lifeguard for a hotel hot tub. The absurdity alone had Will Ferrell barely holding it together, but it's Jim's serious, dramatic commitment that finally breaks Ferrell.
That's okay, sir. You don't have to thank me.
In The Mask, there's a scene where Jim Carrey's character is facing off with a street gang. He starts pulling out balloon animals to distract them, but then by accident, he pulls out a condom and says,
Sorry, wrong pocket.
That line wasn't in the script. Jim improvised it right there, and it instantly became one of the funniest moments in the movie.
Sorry, wrong pocket.
In Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, there's a moment where Ace is driving through the jungle with his guide, and out of nowhere, he starts singing Chitty Chitty Bang Bang at full volume.
Bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang, yeah!
Jim forgot his line and just started singing instead. Even his co-star couldn't help but laugh as he covered his ears. In Yes Man, there's a scene where Jim Carrey and Zooey Deschanel jump on stage and start singing Can't Buy Me Love. That wasn't in the script. They actually sang it live without any rehearsals. It made the whole thing feel way more real, so they kept it in the final cut.
The money just can't buy.
In Liar Liar, there's a moment in the elevator where Jim's character blurts out,
Well, that's because you have big jugs.
and then tries to cover it up. But the funniest part is when he awkwardly mumbles mama under his breath.
Mama.
That wasn't in the script, and it was so weird and perfect, director Tom Shadyac kept it in. In The Mask, right after Stanley puts on the mask for the first time, he looks in the mirror and says,
Okay.
That line wasn't written. Jim made it up on the spot, and it became one of the most iconic catchphrases in the movie.
Look, Ma, I'm roadkill.
In Batman Forever, Jim Carrey plays the Riddler, and there's this scene where he shows up in a flashy outfit and says,
It keeps me safe when I'm jogging at night.
That line wasn't in the script. Jim was still early in his big movie run, but even then, he was known for dropping random one-liners that somehow always worked. In Dumb and Dumber 2, there's a scene where Harry visits Lloyd at a mental hospital. For years, Lloyd hasn't said a word and just sits there being totally unresponsive. Jim improvised most of it. He played it straight for so long, then flipped the moment like only he can.
God, yeah!
Even Jeff Daniels didn't see it coming.
I got you so good.
In Liar Liar, there's a scene where Jim's character tries to get out of a court case by literally beating himself up in a bathroom. And it's not just a few slaps. He throws himself into walls, punches the air, even smashes his head on the floor. Almost all of it was improvised. He committed so hard that he actually bruised himself during filming. In Sonic the Hedgehog, there's a lab scene where Robotnik starts dancing like a lunatic. That whole moment was Jim Carrey's idea. He choreographed the sequence himself and made the crew laugh so hard they kept it exactly as it is.